everybody, this is Julie Bean with Beadaholique, and welcome to our fourth installment of Tips for Selling Your Handmade Jewelry video series. This one here is going to be all about selling online, and this is a huge topic. I actually am going to break it up a little bit. This is going to talk about a lot of the overall tips and the process of getting your items up there, and then we're going to have a breakout episode on photography tips and a second breakout episode on shipping and packaging. So these tips are my personal tips from my experience selling my jewelry and also working with my husband. He's an artist, so he has art books and t-shirts, things like that we've done a lot of selling both online and at shows for. And then I had a dollhouse miniature company too. In addition to these being my personal tips, I'm also sharing tips that I've learned over the years from other artisans as well. And I will not be able to cover everything. This is such a broad topic, and there's such a wealth of information out there and so many things to share and learn about and know that I would really love if you have a tip, please put it in the comments. We would love that. We've looked at the other videos that we've already posted for this series, and there are so many great tips that you all have shared that are wonderful, and people can learn from that. And I think we're really creating a great community here. So please continue to do that. If you have some selling online tips, post it in this video. If you have some questions, please post that as well, and I can help you or someone else can help you. So I just wanted to kind of say a thank you to everyone who's commenting thus far and sharing their own tips. We can all help each other in this process. Okay, so you're selling online. This is fun. So the big advantage is you can sell to anywhere in the world from anywhere. So you can be in any part of the world, create your beautiful jewelry, and then you can ship pretty much anywhere in the world. So that's a big advantage. You can also do it at your own pace. You can work in the evening, you can work in the morning, you can work once the kids go to bed. Whatever it is, you can set your own schedule. So I think those are really big advantages. So the number one tip I have heard repeatedly is that you really get out of it what you put into it. And that basically means the more effort you put into selling online, the better your return is, or at least your chances of return. Of course, we don't have complete control over if someone's going to buy what we sell, but we can do things which makes it easier for them to find you. We can do things which make your listings look a little bit more attractive, take some of the confusion out. There's things that we can do that we put effort into, which will help us to sell online. So that's really what we're going to talk about here, is what can you do to really put your best foot forward. So you're going to first choose where you're going to sell. And so a couple different online options is you can have your own website. Pretty easy to do nowadays, not that hard and not that expensive. So it can just be your own standalone website. You can sell as part of a marketplace. I think we're all familiar with like Etsy, but there's a lot of other ones out there as well, that you are part of a collection of sellers, and then the buyers come to that marketplace and search and look through all the different sellers. And then you can also just sell through your social media. I actually have a lot of friends who do that now. They have an Instagram page or a Facebook page, and they just post what they make with a price and say, hey, if you're interested, send me a message. And that's totally valid too. So there's lots of different ways that you can sell your jewelry online. So just think about which one is going to work for you, what makes the most sense for you, which one you're the most comfortable with. So once you've decided where you're going to sell, I suggest getting some kind of the back end parts of the shop done ahead of time. And this works if you're doing a marketplace, your own website, whatever it may be. And what I mean by that is create the About Me page, set that up, let people know who you are. People are buying from an artist, and they often want to know who the artist is. So tell your story, tell what inspires you, show pictures of your work in progress, maybe even make a quick video. All of this stuff leads to a better buying experience, but it also will help to contribute to sales because people really do want to know who is making this artisan piece of jewelry that they are buying. If they went to a show in person, they would meet you and they would learn your story and they'd have that connection, and that would help lead to a sale. So you're basically just creating that experience for them of them getting to know you that they would have been able to do at a show online, and you're doing that through the About Me page or the My Story or whatever it is that you want to call it. I also really think it's a great idea to get all your policies in place ahead of time. So you want customers to be happy, and you want them to come back for repeat purchases, you want them to tell their friends, all of that. And part of that is being really upfront with what your policies are and creating policies that work for you. So some different policies are going to be things like shipping times. Are you going to ship next day? Are you going to ship once a week, once every couple weeks? Just be forthright about it. You can pick what works for you. And then you can always say if you need something sooner or you need some other arrangement, please contact me. And you'll have, you're going to definitely provide a way of people contacting you. So a good example is I do not like going to the post office. My son goes crazy at the post office and it's quite stressful. So I'm going to tell people I go once a week because that's what works for me and is what, if I have a business of my own, I want it to be enjoyable. I want to love what I do. Going to the post office every day does not make it enjoyable for me. So I will let people know that. And then if they need an adjustment to that, they can let me know. So same thing with like your returns, your refunds, set all of those policies in place ahead of time just so it's really clear. So if someone's looking for it, they can find it. And then if there's ever a need for a return or a need for a refund, the policies are clear and in place and we're already set. There's no surprises. If you don't know what you want to list for your shipping policies, your return refund policies, a big tip would be just to look around and see what other people do. If you have, say, 5 or 10 different artists that you like to buy from, even if they make something completely different than jewelry, let's say they make hats or pottery or whatever it may be, if it's handmade, go ahead and look at what their policies are. You can gain a lot of really good information by seeing what other people do. And then just pick what works for you. Pick what you're comfortable with is always good. This whole process, always do what you love, do what makes sense for you, do what you're comfortable with. All right, so we've got where we're gonna sell. We've got our about me, our story. People get to meet you basically. And then you've got your policies. Now you're ready to list your items. So you have 2 basic components to the listing process. You have your photography and your descriptions. I think if I had to choose what to spend more time on, personally, I would choose the photography because no one's going to read your beautiful description if they're not interested in your photo first. The internet is a visual creature. People scroll, they scroll quickly. You want something to grab their eye. So like I said, we're going to do a whole separate episode on photography, but a couple basic things to keep in mind is you want your pictures to be nice and bright. You don't want it so dark that people can't see what's happening. You don't want it too cluttered. You want people to be able to actually focus on the jewelry. So that doesn't mean you have to have a white background. I actually don't personally like white backgrounds. I like a little vintage postcard or some cobblestones or something. But whatever I'm choosing as a background, I don't want it to dominate the photo. Then you're going to want to make sure that you show every part of the jewelry in some part of the photos. So you might have 5 photos, but make sure some photo captures every part of it. So this is what I mean. If you have, say, a beautiful beaded bracelet and it's got like a gorgeous focal, well, you don't want to just have one photo with that beautiful focal and not show people what the rest of the bracelet looks like or what the clasp looks like. So again, you're just trying to give them that experience that they would have in person online where they get to see the whole piece. And then you're also gonna, if you can, show scale. So like you might have a friend and show them your earring on their ear. That's gonna show them the scale. It's gonna show them how it might look on someone. Same with like a necklace, you'll wanna show them where it lays. If you don't have a friend, you can use a bust. If you don't have a bust, even just find a way of showing scale. Some people use coins, a ruler. You can find different ways to let people know how big your piece of jewelry is. After that, another big tip that I've heard a lot of people share is to have cohesive photos. And what I mean by that is have photos that all look like they're part of the same collection so that when people look at your page, it's really pleasing. It's easy to look at, and they also get to know your brand, your look. So maybe if you are using, say, a vintage postcard in the background, maybe all your photos have a vintage postcard in the background. Or if you are having pure white backgrounds, maybe all of your photos have pure white backgrounds. It just helps to create the look of your site, but it also helps your viewer scroll. It's just a little easier than being distracted by all different backgrounds. So those are some really quick tips for jewelry. And then, like I said, for photographing jewelry, we'll talk about that in a whole other episode. Okay, so now you've got your descriptions. So as you're making your descriptions, kind of keep in mind, what would you want to know about this piece of jewelry if you were a buyer? So think about that. I know I'd want to know how big it is. We've already talked about showing scale in a photograph, but go ahead and give the measurements too. I really wanted to buy a pair of these little watermelon earrings, and I thought they were about 1/2 inch. They ended up being about 3 inches. So you can't always tell from a photo how big something is, unless it is like on someone's ear. But go ahead and give dimensions. Tell people also what materials you use. Are you using sterling silver, gemstones? Those are huge selling points if you are. But even if you're not, let people know it's silver plate or gold plate. This is just you letting them know your materials, which leads to the correct expectations for them and a better experience, because you really want people to come back to you and you really want them to order again and share with their friends. So that's just something you can do. Of course, you're going to list the price, and there's probably going to be something in there that talks about your return policy and your shipping policy as well. So those are just some quick overall tips to how to get your products up there and when you're building out your shop. So other tips that I'd like to share would be, if you can, and if it works, this doesn't work for everybody. A lot of people do one-of-a-kind items, but what's really handy if you are selling online is creating jewelry that you can make multiples of. So if you think about it, takes a while to make a listing. So you got to do the photography, you got to edit the photography, you have to write the descriptions, you have to put it all in the computer, all of that stuff. But if, let's say, you're making an earring that you can make again, you can just copy all that information. You don't have to retake photographs. So it saves a huge amount of time if you can make pieces that you can duplicate. So that's something to keep in mind. Oftentimes you can just copy the listing or relist or whatever it may be. All different platforms are a little different on how they do that, but it is a huge time saver if you can make jewelry that can be repeated. So you'll also want to go ahead and make sure that you have it packaged well. So again, leading to the positive customer experience, you don't want it to arrive broken. So we'll do that whole breakout episode on packaging, but in general, think of the customer's experience as from the moment they first find you online until the moment they get their package and start wearing your jewelry. So you want that to be positive the whole way through. You don't want to have it all positive, all positive, all positive. Uh-oh, the items arrived broken because you just slipped them in an envelope. So we're going to talk about how you can package your jewelry safely, some really economical ways of doing it, some pretty ways of doing it. But just keep in mind that last step is part of the selling online process as well, that their jewelry arrives intact, in good condition, ready to wear. So we've gone through the whole process of online selling, but it's not over yet. So you need to also let people know that your shop exists. And I think this is the one area that sometimes people end up disappointed in, because they've done all this work, they've taken all these photos, everything's ready to go, and then they're not seeing the customers. Well, you got to remember that the internet is huge, it's vast, it's really hard to find things on there. So you're going to need to promote your business. How can you do that? Well, you can first off just tell friends and family. That's a super simple way of doing it. You can also let people know by having social media channels. So let's say you've got your shop, let's say you have your website, right? Well, you can create a Facebook page for it. You can create an Instagram page for it. You can post jewelry on it. You can post videos on it of you making the items. All of that is going to gain eyes for you, which you can then have a link in your bio or in your, on your Facebook page, wherever it may be, linking back to your shop. So you want to try to always direct people back to your listing, but you need to go out there into the virtual world and you need to promote it. So keep that in mind, that the moment you publish all your items, it's not over. You got to let people know. And this is where I would love for people who are selling online to share their tips of how are they promoting their shop. What are you doing? I know that a lot of people also give freebies away. Maybe there's a blogger friend you have who has a big audience and you give her a piece of jewelry and then she writes a blog about it. Or you give her 5 pieces of jewelry to have a contest for her readers. There's so many different things you can do to help get your name out there, but you do kind of need to think about it and be constantly working at it. And this again is where that big tip was of the more you put into it, the more you get back out of it. So just kind of keep that in mind and keep those ideas coming. And that is a really general, basic overview of tips for selling online. I hope that there was some in there that could help people. And then we will do the breakout episode coming up for photography and the breakout episode coming up for shipping and packaging as well. We are going to have even more videos in this series. In addition to those, we're also going to have wholesale and a couple more as well. So please keep watching, stay tuned, and keep commenting and have fun and keep building your jewelry and building your business. And I wish you lots of success.